Hello and good afternoon to all of you. How exciting it is to be able to greet you for this very special symposium with the Houston Housing Authority and Habitat for Humanity, the Houston chapter. I have special places in my heart for both of these organizations and both of these entities that are committed to bringing hope, inspiration, life, and celebration to our community. Again, it's my very pleasure to be with you. Let me congratulate Neil Ratcliffe of the Houston Housing Authority, the City of Houston, the council members, the mayor, for realizing how important it is to utilize over $100 million in public dollars. Much of that City of Houston dollars come from the federal government. And I've been very happy to be a supporter and advocate and sponsor of many grants and funding that the city has gotten over my tenure in the United States Congress. One that comes to mind is the restoration of the Kennedy courts that generated a new concept in housing for so many in the Fifth Ward area. Again, let me congratulate Houston Habitat for Humanity. What a special place you have in our hearts and in the nation. I'm reminded of the very first time of affiliating with Habitat for Humanity when both President and Mrs. Carter came to Sackaway Street in Fifth Ward in the 18th Congressional District. I was right there alongside of them as we put on our gloves and our work clothes and began to nail in the first nails to the real commitment of stabilizing communities and putting Houston back on its feet with respect to home ownership. Now, some many years later, you are doing that. So what is the purpose and the importance of this symposium? It is what I understand both entities and all of you to be committed to, including, of course, the Fifth Ward redevelopment community and the work that has been done by Reverend Clements, his board, and certainly Kathy Payton. It is to stabilize neighborhoods, to use those federal dollars to push back against those who believe that these neighborhoods of yesteryear, the neighborhoods who have such history in our community, cannot be restored, vitalized, revitalized, and of course, emphasizing community and families and children. Let me also say that I want to thank Houston Housing Authority for their homebuyer assistance, for the work they've done for the homeless, the elderly, and the disabled, improving the quality of life for all persons. I'm reminded in September 2008, Hurricane Ike slammed into the Texas Gulf Coast, causing extensive damage in some parts of Houston. Despite numerous obstacles, the City of Houston Housing and Community Development worked diligently with those of us in the United States Congress in our respective districts to go throughout our districts to repair and restore. I remember knocking on doors of senior citizens and, in essence, taking an inventory of some of the major damage in our community. And it was with federal resources that we were able to restore, and Habitat for Humanity was very much a part of not abandoning these very special neighborhoods and ensuring that they can be a place, again, of joy, celebration, of home ownership, of that little girl or boy having a place to do their homework. Disaster recovery that occurred after Hurricane Ike with funds from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, but the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, was so very important. Let me emphasize why home ownership, something that Habitat of Humanity has embraced and has drawn the support of members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats alike. What is in a home? What is a home? It is the very expression of someone's stability, someone having a place to call their own. How exciting it was to be part of and to celebrate the 1,000th home of Habitat for Humanity here in Houston, Texas. In Northeast Houston, just a couple of weeks ago, I joined the Habitat for that very grand celebration. Again, what is a home? Stability, peace, tranquility. It's a very special sense of ownership and equality that you give to families not respecting their economic status. It's a sense of responsibility. It's a sense of accomplishment, achievement. I know that from the very commitment that both Mr. and Mrs. Carter, former President Carter, has had with Habitat for Humanity over all these years. Isn't it outstanding that President Carter chose this particular entity to be part of his after the presidency legacy, and he's been such a contributor to emphasizing the very values that I've said to you. I know sometimes the road seems enormously difficult, but let me thank those who are joining you today, who are part of the team. Let me encourage those who are interested in the efforts of a nonprofit to be supportive, to continue to give to Habitat for Humanity, for the partnership that they have with the public sector cannot be achieved without your assistance, and it is without comparison. They give all that they receive and pour it into the families who are looking forward to a new home. What a perfect combination. An unselfish nonprofit with individuals who, without selfishness, take hammer and nail and begin to build their own homes in partnership with the Houston Housing and Community Development Department that works for people who are unable to do some of the things that Habitat for Humanity may require. As I indicate, the disabled, the elderly. I remember working very closely during my congressional tenure to build up the program on senior repair, something that I believe is still very important in this community. And I hope as you're discussing and working in this summit that you'll look at that as well. But again, I want to congratulate all of you for your presence here. I want to make sure that you know that we take note of the fact of partnerships in Washington, D.C. That is a very excellent combination for our affirmation of people working together. And what better opportunity to work together than to give opportunities for building homes, such as the 283 persons who received a down payment assistance to buy new homes, those who were able to be in renovated multifamily units, and most of all, those who received 219 of them single-family homes that were completed through the Houston Housing and Community Development Department. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the almost 3,000 that received assistance with the Houston Housing, Community Development, and federal dollars after Hurricane Ike. This is the kind of partnership that is so very important. And as we continue to work, I want to say to you, this round 2 of the disaster recovery is extremely important as you continue to work onward. My focus is, again, to thank Habitat for Humanity, to again celebrate them and their commitment to home ownership. That is so very special. Home ownership. It builds the neighborhoods like Sunnyside and South Park, 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, 1st Ward, 6th Ward, 4th Ward. Names may change, but these communities were the backbone of Houston. They were the anchor of Houston. They were the basis upon which the skyscrapers in my district in downtown Houston were able to stand and to be built. The hardworking people who were drawn to these wards and laid down their stake of home ownership, raised the generations of leaders that are now leading our city and leading our communities today. This is who we should thank as you come together to develop housing. You should be able to reflect that old neighborhoods are not throwaways, but they are to be invested in, to be reinvigorated, and they are to be the teachers of our children, the value of history and the new and old coming together. That's why I'm so grateful for the work that has been done by the 5th Ward Redevelopment Corporation and the 5th Ward efforts led by Reverend Harvey Clemens, with his able assistants, Ms. Payton, and the board members that have been so dynamic in their commitment, as has been in places in 3rd Ward, as I indicated, in 4th Ward, 2nd Ward, developments that have been so very special. It is my pleasure, of course, to now highlight the visionary in the 5th Ward redevelopment, Reverend Harvey Clemens, Jr. I'm delighted to be able to introduce and present to some my friend, a person who had a clear understanding of a boy from 5th Ward coming back and making a difference. How special it is to have a man of such stature who could have achieved and accepted calls from all over the nation to be part not only of this great 5th Ward redevelopment, but of the leadership and revitalizing and inspiration of the Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, one of the anchors of 5th Ward. I think that is particularly special, that he would come and be part of one of the most historic churches in the community. He defined visionary leadership through his ministry and certainly through his service. And he has served, being a pastor at Pleasant Hill Baptist Church, a shepherd since 1983. His flock loves him because they see his work is beyond the boundaries of the church house, but he seeks to bring all to be revitalized in their souls into the church house, and then gives them an opportunity to live strong in the community of which they come, Fifth Ward and beyond. He's educated in the Houston Independent School District and, of course, achieved so much in his studies later at the University of Houston School of Architecture. That was to foretell a desire to design and build. Today, he is a builder of people's lives and their communities, instrumental in the comprehensive neighborhood revitalization movement of Fifth Ward. Reverend Clements served as chairman of the Fifth Ward Community Redevelopment Corporation from 1989 to 2009, and is currently president of Pleasant Hill Community Development Corporation, both of whose accomplishments include construction of over 200 single-family homes. He's worked with mayors, governors, and presidents. I'm reminded of Vice President Gore coming to his outstanding senior citizen facility on Lyons Avenue and producing the Good Hammer Award that the Vice President offered to someone who had done great things. He has seen leaders of all kinds, but you should listen to his own words. In his own words, Reverend Clements says, "I see Pleasant Hill as a God-appointed agent for these times. We've been assigned to usher anyone who enters the church door and the residents of Fifth Ward from spiritual darkness into the marvelous light of Jesus Christ. In doing so, he is a servant. And as he welcomes people into his church, he also goes as Jesus has done and taught us well, to go out into the highways and byways of life and to serve and lead individuals. Unequivocally, he has an underlying focus and driving force of Reverend Clements as pastor, teacher, and leader of Pleasant Hill. He continues to be a student of all things. As he studied in England at Oxford University, Regent's Park College, he is an author, contributing author of the African American Devotional Bible and Oxford Sermons. But I truly consider him a modern-day shepherd who understands the balance of religion and teaching between the service to the people. He is truly the Good Samaritan. He recognizes that the stranger along the highway has to be tended to by giving them housing and opportunity to work, a beautiful neighborhood, great parks to live in. He is truly the right man for the task today as he speaks to those who have come to receive his vision and his inspiration. My challenge and charge to all of you who are there, leave this summit with an inspiration to spread housing, single-family homes across the city of Houston, stabilizing neighborhoods, giving strength to those who want to come back to the community and make a difference. It is a pleasure to introduce this great man, Reverend Harvey Clements, the keynote speaker this afternoon. God bless you, Reverend Clements. God bless this great effort, and God bless the United States of America.